First of all, the Three of Pentacles, let's talk about this first. Because I feel like for some of you, there is a situation here where you're trying to work together with another person and everyone has their own agendas, right? And I feel like you're working together with them and you see the value, like the long-term the long-term impact of the work that you're doing, right? And I feel like they're very short-sighted. They only see what they're contributing. They only see how the situation is going to contribute to their own success. So I feel like there is this thing about, long-term vision, which I feel you're very good at seeing because, your sign is ruled by Jupiter. It deals with higher vibrations, higher ideals, as well as, philosophical like expansion. And it's also rules the ninth house in astrology, which deals with higher education, higher learning, higher consciousness. And it's linked up with the high priestess too. So I feel like if you're in a capacity where you are working with other people, you might be supervising other people, you might be, in charge of other people. And whatever they're doing, you're seeing them make mistakes. You're seeing them like losing themselves in the details and not seeing the big picture. And I feel like you might have tried several times to talk to them about this. And I do feel like, they're kind of ambivalent. They just don't really care and they're a little bit short-sighted. So I feel like there is going to be some minor frustration here coming through in the work environment. The high priestess also indicates a situation where, truths being coming to light, truths being revealed in a work environment here. And it might be that, some people might not have the proper training in order to do something. And these things are going to slip out. And so when that comes to light, right, if you're in a position of authority, then you're going to have to decide, do we expend the money and the time and the resources to train them, or do we just fire them and replace them? So there are some difficult decisions that you're going to have to grapple with, especially for those of you in a capacity where you can hire or fire and you are dealing with this. So people's competencies or lack of competencies are going to be revealed. And you need to figure out, what you have to do about that, okay? And I feel like don't try to hide it. Don't try to, cover for them. Because I feel like a lot of you are there. I feel like the people are working in a capacity where it like one weak link, I guess, in a chain is going to cause a lot of problems for everybody involved. So if you're realizing this about a specific person, you need to, bring it to action, mainly because they're a weak link. And if you're building something, a weak structure cannot withstand the test of time. So think about long term. So don't try to, baby or cull this person. That's not going to work. You need to like be a little bit more, you need to be a little bit more objective and be a little bit more detached when dealing with this situation and try to do the right thing. I hope that makes sense. So Sagittarius, some tough calls for a lot of you. Likewise, if you are kind of like working in the capacity anytime for this month, okay? If you are not sure about what you're doing, take a step back and don't do it. Consult somebody for advice. If you feel like, hey, I'm not really comfortable doing this because I don't really know how to do it, ask somebody, do some research, and make sure you know what you're doing. Okay? Because I feel like, things slipping out, things coming to light, and there might be some reprimand if you're like working under somebody else, and there might be, a reprimand based on your job performance. So keep that in mind as well, okay? I do feel here with the third cluster, we have the Five of Cups as well as the Six of Cups. So let me just say that this is going to pan out in two ways. The The first one is that there is a significant relationship in your life. Okay. So this is, the Six of Cups is a soulmate type of a connection where you feel emotionally very tied in with another person. In the negative manifestation of it, it could also be like, you're stuck with a person because you both have something together. That can be finances, that can be children together, and you have to learn to work together as a unit. And it's really frustrating. What I feel here with the Five of Cups is that a lot of you might have had a falling out with somebody that you really, really cared about. Okay. And you thought you could trust them. You thought that the relationship was going to go the distance. And I feel like it didn't pan out exactly that way. And then you might have realized that, you were idealizing the relationship. You were idealizing that situation and looking at it through kind of like rose tinted glasses. And the reality starts to set in sometime this month. And then for others of you, going back to the peace offering between family members, especially if you have children, it might be overturned. That peace offering, in fact, the other person might not accept it. So the thing here is, the whole process about acceptance. You can be the one to extend a peace offering, but if the other person is not ready to accept it, it is their call. So, don't get upset over it, okay? Likewise, if somebody is extending a peace offering to you, you don't need to be nice. If you feel like you still hold a grudge, just tell them, thank you, but I'm not ready. Or, if you feel like, no, what you did was, unforgivable, then definitely express that. But just know that, it is within somebody's power to either deny or accept what's coming in. And likewise for yourself, it is within your power to decide, your own destiny. So I feel like whatever's coming through, there is going to be, there might be some disappointment for some of you regarding mending relationships with somebody, mending ties with somebody. And I feel for a lot of you, especially, Sagittarius parents, people who have children, there might be some lingering attachments here with baby's father, um, or like the mother of their child. And there's going to have to be some situation where you have to come back together to work together as a unit. There might also be like, so for example, if you're separated, right, you're no longer with the baby's father, and they've met somebody else. They're, that third person is going to be in the picture raising the child too. And likewise, if you're a Sagittarius man with children and your ex, the mother of the child might be dating again. So there's that other man involved in the picture. So I feel like it's a tenuous situation. It's like extended family, blended families, people dating again with children. So all of these things are thrown in the mix, and it's sort of like you don't know where the other person has been. So you're just like, do I trust them with the children? So there are all these nuance, relationships coming through, partners coming and going. And at the root of it, I feel like there are also children involved. So I feel like it's a sticky situation. And the thing is, you can't really control who other people date. So pick your battles, and at least, I feel like getting the story from children is going to be crucial as well. Okay. Just make sure the kids are happy. This is more about, trying to provide a stable environment for the kids. So if your ex is happy and they've got like other people in the mix, if they're happy and their children are safe, then you're fine. So I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a tenuous situation for those of you who have children who are trying to date again, or who are, going through the dating process. And likewise, the baby's mother, the baby's father might be trying to date as well. So I feel like it's, it's a little bit tricky, but it will be okay. I do feel that it will be okay. What I'm also feeling is like there might be some custody issues when it comes to children. Okay, so rearrangement of custody issues, rearrangement of meeting times, of like who gets the child when and what days. And then I feel like, going back to court in order to like do a review when it comes to custody, alimony, child support. So all of that's coming through, and I feel like it might have been settled. There might be like an amendment that is needed for it, and then I feel, you're gonna have to decide how you want to proceed. Okay. The last cluster here is the Seven of Pentacles as well as the Two of Swords. So first of all, let me talk about the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles indicates a situation where you have invested a lot of time in a specific situation and you're waiting for a very favorable outcome. You're waiting for the reward. You're waiting for the payoff. And I feel like a lot of you might be feeling very, very frustrated and kind of like jaded, because I feel like something similar happened to you last year where you put a lot of your time in a situation. You waited for things to, work out well for you, and you might have been disappointed. And I feel like you're obsessively grooming and making sure that this time around things are going to be perfectly perfect, or even like, you're making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Everything is in place, dotting all the I's and crossing all your T's. And I feel like the waiting game, so I feel a lot of you are turning in documents. A lot of you are kind of like, there might be children in the picture. The other party is submitting their documents. You're submitting yours. And then there's like this waiting as to, a final decision here. So the Two of Swords is a situation where our intuition is telling us there is something off. Okay. And some of you might be, looking at the situation like there's something off here, and you need to really look into it, and you really need to like figure out, why is my intuition telling me that? Why am I thinking about these things? Why is my intuition like telling me, all these things that might possibly happen? So this is a month in which, take off those rose-tinted glasses and look at the situation very, very realistically. Okay. Oftentimes when I see this card, especially with this deck, I think about denial. And I usually think about like, your intuition is telling you something, but you're blindfolded. You're protecting yourself because the truth hurts. The truth really does hurt sometimes. So I feel like, out of a sheer sense of survival, self-preservation, a lot of you might overlook certain situation because it makes it easier. It makes it a little bit more bearable. But I feel that, this situation that's screaming out at you, your intuition is telling you these things. It means to, do something about it, basically. But for majority of you, I feel like this is a card about waiting. This is a card about, waiting for a resolution, making a decision. And like I said at the very beginning, you're going to be a little bit frustrated because a lot of other people are involved in a specific situation, government officials even. And you're waiting for them to get all their act together and to, decide on something so that you can at least make a decision for yourself to decide where you need to be. And I do feel for a lot of you, it involves children. For others of you, it involves like, health issues. I feel like family situations coming through as well. And what I'm feeling as well is this is pretty much about, accepting things, right? However, this situation here, if there are, if you feel like there's something off with the children, really investigate, okay? Because they don't, most of them don't have the cognitive abilities to, really express themselves. So ask follow-up questions, ask leading questions, ask follow-up questions, voice your concerns, voice your, like really lead up to whatever it is that you're trying to uncover, okay? That might be a better way to go when it comes to dealing with children, to try to get answers from them. So ask leading questions. Now, in terms of your advice, Sagittarius, we have the Three of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. So I feel honestly for your financial situation, things are going to be very, very good this month. I see a lot of you are like expanding, so this can be like getting promotions, getting raises, getting more responsibilities put upon you. But I feel like you're adequately compensated. Okay. And then for others of you, I feel like this is a situation, if you're working like on a client commission basis, You have a lot of opportunities to expand. So there's going to be a lot of good news on the financial front. And we also have a situation here with the Seven of Pentacles, which is waiting for the harvest. And we're ending here with the King of Pentacles, which means that you're going to be very, very quite financially stable. Okay. What it's also saying as well is there's an element here about not succumbing to social pressure and doing just, going ahead and doing what makes you feel good. We also have a situation that deals with, all the cups energy indicates as well overindulgence, and it is birthday time and people tend to overdrink, but either way, there's an element here of, an element of control and not overindulging. So that's coming through as well. So what I feel is like, do what makes you feel good, as long as you don't overindulge, as long as you don't hurt anybody. But I feel like social pressure is not going to be, it is something that you don't need to succumb to. Okay. Don't succumb to that social pressure. There is a specific message coming through for, I guess, like it could just be, one or two people. But what I'm feeling very strongly here is you have an earth sign. This is a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising. This person, I feel, has been popping in and out, and it's somebody quite significant in your life. I feel that they're going to surprise you sometime this month, okay? I feel like they're coming in. They're still very, very reliable. And I do feel there is a sense of like, you might not see eye to eye, but there is a lot of support. There's a lot of emotional outpouring, and there is still a lot of like, they welcome you back into the fold, into that social circle, into that social group. Okay. A lot of you have, been dealing with an earth sign. This is somebody that is making you quite happy. And I feel that, they're very solid. They're very real. So if this is, a love partner, there's going to be an outpouring of love. If it's a love partner, and it's going to make you feel quite good. Okay. But either way, finances looks very, very strong for many of you.